Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing well as always, and I'm back with another video, and this time it's gonna be a round 4 aka part 4 of the Clash of Kings tournament hosted by Vision. So again, if you're not familiar with this tournament, where I think you should already since you are watching my journey to first place, it's a tournament hosted by Vision, and the cool thing about this tournament is it's only for content creators, and there is a pretty good prize pool in my opinion. And also for you guys viewer, you guys have a chance to join in this tournament. For more information, you guys should follow Vision on Twitter and on their Twitch. And as you can see, our opponent is Charles Dinky, and of course he is a content creator for Vanguard in general. And you guys should check out his links. All of the useful links will be in the description box down below, including Vision. And also this round 4 is really huge because we both have a record of 2-1, and whoever wins this game will move on to top 8. So this is going to be the deciding factor. Who's going to move on to top 8? Is it going to be Cardfight Nation or is it going to be Charles Dinkies? To find out, let's head to the match. Okay, so as you can see, on the first round it's going to be Tsukuyomi versus DN. And if you notice, I didn't start record during our grid 0 turn because I've actually forgot to do so, but luckily I did double check. That's why I clicked the record button now, so you don't really miss much as the game is just starting up. And as you can see, my hand is looking pretty good, and here you can see we read 4 triggers and it's going to the bottom of the deck. It's kind of good and kind of bad. The good thing is we can plan our trigger more efficiently, and the bad thing is our early game won't have much trigger left. But believe me, this 4 trigger stack is gonna haunt him on the later game. And here I did decide to ride Half Moon, obviously, because you want to ride your chain ride. And here I soul charge a PG, which is fine just because my hand have another one, so it's not a big deal. And just because I actually have 4 triggers on the bottom of my deck, that's why I call my Red Eye, since the odds of me soul charging a trigger is even lower now. So I feel like this is the perfect time to do so. And the good thing about what my opponent do is he didn't ride his Nehalem, because if he rides Nehalem and his Berserk Dragon is on his rear guard, I can actually hit my Red Eye first and I get my Soul Charge, and that will conclude my 6 Soul, and I can use my Blue Eye skill that way. But good thing he called his 10k base grade 2 on the rear guard, so props to him. And here he ride Dragon Overlord, and is he gonna use his Conro skill? Let's see. Yep, he did decide to use it. Probably gonna search a PG, I assume. But PG is not really that important against Oracle Ting just because they run Silent Tom, and that is most of their finisher card. They will just finish you off with Tom, so it doesn't really matter whether you have PG or not. So he did decide to go for a slower approach. So this tells me that his hand have either 2 PG or at least have 1 DN in his hand, because he don't really want to commit another column of rear guards. And here you can see 1 Tom into the damage zone, which is fine. We run 3, we still have 2 more in our deck, and we can join it later on into the game. And here we got another Silent Tom at the bottom of our deck, so technically we only left 1 before we reach our stack. And here, like always, just writing down my stack as usual. When you're playing Oracle Ting Tang, especially Tsukuyomi, you do want to write down your stack to actually control the flow of the game. And here, I'm gonna write my Full Moon Tsukuyomi. And let's see whether I use my skill or not, because I need to know how many trigger left in my non-stack deck, and if the trigger is low, I'm gonna use it. If it's high, I'm not gonna use it. And I think I'll probably use it. Let's see. Yep. And here I draw into no trigger, which is good, and I draw into another PG, which is really clutch. And here I soul charge my heal, my stand, okay, my stand, because I rather return my heal trigger instead of my stand to the bottom of the deck. And here I'll probably just call a Half Moon and a 12k attacker here, and push him to 4, and hopefully finish him off next turn if we can draw our last Silent Tom. But even if we did draw our last Silent Tom, we still need a booster to hit through his Vanguard. And here no trigger for our opponent, which is good because this way we no need to twin drive any trigger. And here we get our last Tong, which is hide. And I put back my heal into the deck, and here goes our twin drive, which is gonna be nothing. And it's gonna be 2 Geminis, which is the 8k vanilla booster, and I only run 2, so sadly no Geminis in this game anymore. But if he is at 11k base, Gemini is going to be important. But if he's going into a 13k base, then a 7k booster is good enough for Silent Tom. And here he did go for the cross strike, so it's going to be 13k base. And here I'm really hoping that he don't have DN, because his hand size is low, and one of it is PG. And if you have DN, that means he can fish for more cards. And luckily his board isn't so strong, in my opinion. And he did decide to call a booster behind his Vanguard, which is interesting. Because normally I'll put my boosters at my rearguard column, not behind my Vanguard. Since it's better off putting a bar, a 8k vanilla behind your Vanguard to make a perfect 21k column. And here you can see no trigger for our opponent, pretty unfortunate. And here we did manage to check a trigger. I can't really remember if this is planned or not, but this trigger is huge because now it forced my opponent to twin drive another trigger if he wants to stand and attack, hit my Vanguard and push me to fight. So like I said, trigger like this is the most important triggers because it can decide the game. So even I didn't heal, I feel like this trigger is still really good, and here he did decide to go for the stand, which I think is correct because his hand size is really low. And if he don't stand, that means I know that his hand is only 2 cards, which is PG and DN. And here he twin drive, nothing. So that's pretty unfortunate because you absolutely do not want to see that as a DM player. So that trigger is really clutch. And here I draw into a Gentle Gym, which is going to be really good to pair with a Silent Tom, especially against a 13k base. And especially when he's at 4 going to 6 damage soon. And here sadly I don't have a booster, otherwise I'll use my Silent Tom. And here I probably use Tsukuyomi skill. And normally you want to draw first and then call your rearguards, but in my case it doesn't really matter because I know what I'm going to draw, so I'm going to call first and I'm going to draw into the exact card that I know I'm going to draw. And here, because I have no time limit, I'm thinking how am I going to finish this game off, and I did decide to go for a really cool mind games, as you can see later on. I do remember this play really clearly because this is the moment where I have the vision of getting this game to a victory. And here I did decide to draw, and I did draw into another Gentle Gym. Not really going to be much of a use when he's at 5 damage next turn, so I did decide to throw it into the soul, and I'm going to call my Half Moon down for sure, and you're going to see I'm going to pull my grade 2 12k attacker to the back row, and this way I can give him an opportunity to finish me off the next turn. So this play actually says a lot, because by doing this play I pretty much says to him that I'm going to damage check a trigger. And because I say that and he wants to finish me off the next turn, he might actually call another booster behind his Dragoning Overlord if he have a Berserk Dragon or DN, because he wants to push all of his 3 attacks to my Vanguard. And because I know he does have grade 1, so I'm pretty much baiting him to call a PG right here. And here I did draw into my grade 1, which is clutch because I need a grade 1 to finish him off with a Tom. And there's really no punish in this play because I check a stand. So every trigger from now on is all planned. So it's going to be a stand and a grade 2. And if you remember, this stack is my first stack during the game. During the opening game, as you can see, it's a CEO, Red Eye into draw, into CEO, into draw. If you remember it clearly. And so here, even if he managed to push 3 attacks to my Vanguard, we will still survive. So there is no way we're gonna die. There's no way we're gonna lose this turn. And he did call his PG, so my bait kind of worked. But I did clarify with him, as he did tell me that that is a misclick since he have a bar in his hand. And of course, I didn't expect the Dual Axe Archdragon, which is the 13k attacker. But since I'm going to 21, after taking the damage, since I know the next shot is a trigger, he potentially need double trigger to hit my Vanguard. And by moving my grade 2 to the back row, I can still use my grade 2 on my next turn, because as you can see, my hand have no attackers. That is why I want to preserve the attacker on the next turn. And here he is going to attack and he's going to twin drive. nothing again, so pretty unlucky of him, I'm not gonna lie. And here is my trigger check, and we did get our trigger as planned, and now we save a grade 2, and even we save PGs. So that's a really good play in my opinion, and here we draw into our draw. And now, because I bait him to call the PG, which he technically is a misclick, so now even if he 6 damage shield with my Silent Tomb, I still can win because I'm going to twin drive a trigger, and my Vanguard is going to be 18, pair with a trigger is going to beat his 6 damage shield anyway. So to me, this is the perfect game plan and gameplay, and this will show the strength of Full Moon Tsukuyomi in my opinion. And yeah, that is game. And game 1 go to us, GG to Charles, and we are moving to game 2, which is gonna be MLB versus DN if I remember correctly. And I'm not gonna lie, my game plan in this tournament is to win with my Tsukuyomi first, and then I have 2 games with MLB and I just need to win one of them to get a victory over my opponent. So that is my game plan in general. And yeah, just gonna double check my list in case I enter the wrong MLB. And game 2 begins now. And obviously DN against MLB, I would say DN have a better edge just because they have counter cards against my Vanguard Brave, which prevent me to get my pieces on my turn 3, because they have cards like Striken or even Tejas, and those are the counter for my starter, which is Vanguard Brave. And here, I'm just throwing back stuff that is not Blaster, and I feel like this hand is alright. It's not the worst, it's not the best, it's pretty standard. And here I go with the Maron right, because I have 2 Maron, so I did decide to write a Maron instead of my K. And here I'm hoping that he give me a damage, so I can use my Vanguard Brave skill. And it's also good to go first against Kaigero, because if they want to counter my Vanguard Brave, they have to pass on turn 1. So let's see what he do. Okay, so he did decide to pass. This tells me that he either have a Tejas or a Striker in his hand. Most likely Tejas. And as you can see, I did decide to write the Battlefield just because I want to save the Blaster Dart in my hand, since I just need Blaster Blade to get off my MLB skill. So if I manage to top deck a Gunslot or Blaster Blade, we are in a really good position. And he read a heal, always nice to see that. And here he goes with his Tejas like I predicted. And he probably gonna use his control skill, yup, and search for a PG. So let's see if he have his Bellicosity Dragon. And I think he shouldn't put me to 2 damage just because he should play around my Star Core Trumpeter. So he does have his Bellicosity, so he's gonna put me to 1, which is a good number to be at for him. And I did check a draw trigger, so I'm hoping for a Blaster Blade, but I did not draw into it. But which is fine, because Palomidis is really good. It is a 10k attacker, that means it's the perfect number against the 8k Vanguard. And here I top deck my PG, so that's really good to see. And here I did decide to call 2 attackers, which is not my Blaster, because I want to preserve it in my hand. And hopefully I can get a Blaster Blade on my next turn so that I can utilize my MLB skill. And here we get a draw into Gunslot, so that's really good because we can set up our MLB next turn. And because of my perfect number, he's going to 3 even if he get a damage trigger check. And there's 1 PG into the damage zone, good to see that since I'm playing MLB. And no trigger for him. So the bad thing about this play is I have no interceptor, so if he have a perfect hand, meaning that he have a grade 3 to ride and a bunch of grade 2 and boosters, he can potentially push me to 4 damage if he did get a trigger and I don't check any damage trigger. But for that to happen, like I said, he need to have a good hand. So let's see what he do. And he did decide to call 2 Strikens down, and Striken is kind of a hard counter to MLB in general. Not just Striken, 10k vanilla is just a hard counter just because Blaster are 9k base and they need boosters to get through them. But luckily we had 2 boosters for that, so not a problem for us. And he didn't get any trigger, That means he have to attack my grade 3. So technically our grade 3 is interceptor, so that's really good value for us. And here my play is pretty obvious. Just gonna use Gunslot skill, combo my blaster and 2 boosters and attack his interceptor and swing with my MLB last. And I think I actually use my blaster blade skill because I don't see a reason why not to. Yep, and I'm gonna call my K and Maron. You obviously want to put your K at the back row of your Vanguard column, not your back of the Vanguard, because K have a skill which is gonna be a tank attacker when he's at the front row. And I did decide to hold off to my Lian because I want to save a booster when he go to the end, because against 13k base your MLB need a booster to get through his Vanguard. And we did reap a heal, which is fine. We are still in a pretty good spot here. Although I would love to get a heal, because not a heal, I would love to get a draw trigger just because my hand is running low and I don't have much attacker next turn beside my K, since Lian is going to the back of my Vanguard if he writes his DN. But his hand size is really low as well, as you can see. Only 4 cards, but if he writes DN, he's only left with 3 cards, and he did write his DN. And here, even if he have another DN, it's still looking pretty good for us because he don't have a booster, as you can see right now. And if he have another DN and he have no booster, even if he stand, he can't really hit through my Vanguard again unless he get a trigger. And as you can see, no booster. And the Tager is pretty clutch because I really do plan to use the K to take out his interceptor next turn. But I can't do that anymore, and he checked a heal, which is really good of him. But not gonna complain, he have not checked any trigger in the last 2 turns. So it's about time he get his trigger, and he get double trigger, which is really good for him. And because of the double trigger, he can push me to 4, where normally he can only push me to 3. And the good thing about going to 4 is he's not playing around Blaster Blade, which is understandable, because he know I don't have Blaster Blade, otherwise I would have used MLB skill when I ride it. And here we top deck our Blaster Blade. Wow, that's insane. The Blaster Blade draw is really insane, and because of this, I can potentially go for the kill this turn, because I can call my Blaster Blade on my left hand side and retire his Nehalem, and call my booster down, which is Lian, and I can even call my PG if I really want to close the game here, because my Maron can attack his Tejas. But I'm thinking here, if he don't have a grade 1, he can't finish off us next turn because we have a PG. And if he have no grade 1, we are going to be at 17 the next turn when we are at 5 damage. So I'm thinking either to guarantee a win on the next turn or try to win this turn. And if I try to win this turn, we might actually lose during his turn if we can't close up the game. Because at this point, I know that he only left 2 BG, one at the bottom of his deck, and the other one is either in his deck somewhere or in his hand. So the odds of him having PG is really low. But I do remember going for the safe play, since his hand size is so small. And I'm also hoping for a heal trigger, because if I can get a heal trigger here, I technically win the game. And here, as you can see, I'm not going to call my PG as a boost, so safe play here. And I don't really want to move my Maron to the top, because I want to use that as a booster or attacker next turn, since my hand is extremely low. And here you can see no PG for him, so technically we can win the game. But I did decide to hold off to my PG on my hand, because normally you don't really call PG as a booster unless you don't have a choice, unless you have to win on that specific turn. And here he top deck his Dragoning Overlord, which is really clutch. But as I predicted, he don't have any booster. And no booster means that his attack is gonna get weakened just because I am 12k base. And here, if you don't check a trigger, I wouldn't even need a PG. I wouldn't even need to use my PG. So even if we check double trigger, we will still win, because he can't get through this hand without a booster. And here you get a draw, and it's gonna give power to Dragoning Overlord, and that's all he get. And no trigger for us, which is fine, and we got our PG for it, and this pretty much seal the game, because I have my Blaster Dark, and whatever I draw, I can pair it with my Maron to make an extra attack. And even if he top deck a PG, he will still lose unless he 6 damage shield. And since he don't have a PG last turn, I assume he doesn't have a PG this turn as well. That's why I'm gonna swing my Vanguard first instead of my Rearguard first. So as you can see, blasted up to the Rearguard, and normally you want to swing with your Rearguard to his Vanguard to proc a PG. But since I know he doesn't have it, I will just swing my MLB first, and this guarantees me the win since he only left like 1 or 2 heal. I can't really remember. And yeah, game 2 go to us. Overall, pretty good game, so good games to Charles. And this pretty much concludes round 4, and your boy is going to top 8. So that's pretty hype, and I got pretty excited over that. And yeah, I guess this kind of sum up for this round. Make sure to check out all the links in the description box down below as an appreciation to Vision and my opponent. And also remember to comment down below, as always, whether you like my gameplay or whether I should do something differently or not. And yeah, this should be it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for next video. Goodbye.